Okay. Alrighty, folks. So here I'm gonna do one of the more difficult reviews to do. I'm reviewing a primary arms HTX-1 red dot sight. These kind of sites are really, really difficult to review because, for the most part, they either work or they don't. And from a reviewer standpoint, it's better when they don't, because when they don't work, you can crap all over the company. You can complain and whine and explain to everybody how you are the world's greatest shooter, and if it wasn't for this damn gear failing on you, you'd be even better, and all that sort of stuff. That's one of the reasons when different YouTube reviewers go and break a red dot site, they're all so happy, right? So like they broke something, have something to talk about. This is not going to be one of those. I'm not going to drop the gun in front of you. I'm not going to stomp all over a empty. Everything's empty. I'm not going to stomp all over this thing. I'm not going to drop it upside down. I'm not going to do any of this stupid shit. I'm not going to ram it into walls and try to cycle it using the red dot on a rusty bucket. All of that is, well, makes for good YouTube, but all that mostly is bullshit. I've had this thing since about middle of June, and we're recording this on August 7th. It went with me to a couple of matches. Those are precision matches where you shoot rifle and handgun, and it was on my side. It did get dropped and dirtied and muddied. There's a bunch of blood all over it. Mine. I don't think about anything else. Zero never shifted. Lenses did not get scratched. They got dirty many times. It's dirty again. But they did not get scratched. So whatever coatings they use hold up well. The housing is all scratched up, but the integrity has not been compromised. It didn't leak. Dust didn't get inside. The battery did not run out. So it's just an exceptionally well built enclosed red dot sight that mounts spectacularly low. All of the edges are smoothed out. It's a very, very nice red dot for a carry gun if you're carrying a gun over a regular width. Primary Arms HTX-1 is probably the only red dot sight, or the only one I can think of, that is expressly supposed to be fully 100% made in United States. The lenses, the emitter, the housing, the electronics, everything. I don't know if that adhesives are made in the United States, right? So I don't know if they would, for all I know, they could have been, but it is as made in the US as you can imagine. It was also the first project that Primary Arms has to make a red dot sight completely in-house. I visited them a while back. I saw them building the clean room. It is impressive how good it is generally, and it is even more impressive how good this thing is, given that this is their first experiment in building a red dot inside. I know the engineer who's in charge of this thing, Bert. Amazing effort. I'm super impressed. And beyond that, it's going to be real short because I've got nothing to complain about. So there will be two versions. One has a 4 MOA dot, another one is a 4 MOA dot surrounded by this huge circle, something they call ACSS Falcon. This is just the 4 MOA dot. Intensity adjustments are manual. There are two buttons on two sides. Here's a picture that go up and down. There is shake awake. Normally, I try to use these things longer, hoping that I'll get some idea of how long the battery is going to last. I got tired of waiting. I figured I'll just wrap up with the review and continue using the red dot sight. The battery is side mounted. Again, here's a picture. It's a regular 2032 battery. They do send you a tool to open this up, but you can do so with lots of different available tools. The mounting is very clever. So when you get this HTX-1, they sent it to you with three of these. It's kind of an adapter plate, but it's not. It's a lot more sophisticated than just a plate. They call it a chassis. There are three different ones: one for glaucoma OS, one for RMR type A, and RMR type B. I think it's A and B or one and two, something like that. There are two different RMR patterns out there that use different screws. One has raised bosses, another one doesn't. Anyhow, so those are the three chassis plates that you get. I'm sure they can make other ones. So the chassis attaches to your slide that's cut for either MOS or one of the RMR cuts. And then there are four screws, two here from the sides and two here from the top and front of the lens, that allow you that screw into the chassis. So there are four screws from the side and from the top that are keeping this in. Because they do not have to go with those two screws straight into the slide, they were able to make the optic a little bit longer, and having an optic that's a little bit longer in this case is a big advantage. And it is a big advantage because it allows you to run a more moderate f number, and that makes collimation quality, meaning how sharp the dot's going to look to you, a little bit better, sometimes a lot better. I have mild astigmatism in my right eye, and because of that, I tend to generally prefer larger dots. So when I learned they only have 8 and 4 MOA, I really prefer 6 or 8 MOA dots. When they have it in 4 MOA, I had some original misgivings. But after those original misgivings, I said, screw this, let's see how it works. And it worked beautiful. The dot is, in terms of collimation quality, it's easily one of the best handgun sights I've seen yet. I think it's between this guy and Vortex's Defender XL. The dot looks sharp. In terms of parallax, I've got a metal plate over there that's almost exactly 30 yards away from me. So I want to see parallax in between. All right, it already fell asleep. So I've got the dot on the plate right now. Here's the picture of what this looks like. And the plate, I think, is 8 inches wide. And when I move left or right, the apparent parallax is less than an inch. And when I move up or down, the apparent parallax is going to be less than an inch. Do I hugely care about parallax? No, not a ton. So most of these are set up to be essentially parallax free, at least for the center sweet spot, at about 50 yards. Okay, so when you are closer than that, there will be a little bit, but not too much. And in this case, like I said, I am never, as I move my eye around, so I'm just kind of circling this dot in the periphery, and I'll take a couple of pictures for you. The dot is always in the center region of the plate. With most red dot sights, we define a center region that's usually the sweet spot's usually between 60 and 80% of the viewing window by area. With this guy, the sweet spot is the whole freaking window. So it's exceptionally well corrected. I am very pleased. If there was parallax at the edges, would it bother me a lot? No, because I think the whole issue is overblown. But it's not. It's a good idea to check. And from a parallax standpoint, this thing is absolutely exceptional. I think they should also consider using it on carbines where it matters a little bit more. In terms of overall length, it's about 2 inches long, about 1.8, just under. And because they have this innovative chassis mounting system, they didn't have to move the optic in the front. So one of the things you see, especially with competition optics, again, in order to keep the emitter a little further away from the a window, what they do, they offset the optic to go a little bit further forward. Well, it has advantages and disadvantages. One of the disadvantages, it keeps you fairly close to the ejection port, where sometimes you can have a case hit the red dot sight, sometimes you will have some oil spritzing around. Sometimes if your gun is suppressed, like mine is, I prefer to shoot suppressed whenever I can, there's a little bit more of dirt and grime coming back out of the ejection port. With the HTX-1, they were able to set it reasonably far back, and what you'll see is that the optic is embedded a little bit, so it's less easy to damage. They've got it set back just a little bit, and that allows you to keep the front lens fairly clean. I didn't have to do much with it at all. Once in a while, I would get I have this compressed air thing and just blow some dirt off, and that's it. The only time I had to really clean it off was when I accidentally dragged it through mud, and then I actually had to clean it off, and amazingly, the lenses still did not get scratched. Beyond that, I got nothing else to say. I'll do an update on it after the battery dies for the first time. This is, the original battery. It spent a lot of time on my hip when I was hiking around, so the dot would have been on. I'm still alive. Ostensibly, they say 20,000 hours of typical use. I don't know what it will translate into of my use, but it works. It co-witnesses just fine with conventional height Glock sights. That's what I have on this thing. Um, it mounted so low that the suppressor actually takes a good amount of the viewing window, right? So if you're going to be running a suppressor 100% of the time, counterintuitively, red dot sight that sits a little bit taller might work better, but honestly, it blocks maybe bottom third of the view through the optics. And the way I present, it took me, I don't know, 10 minutes of practice to make the adjustment, and now I present the sight so that the dot is above the suppressor, and it works beautifully for me. As far as the combination goes, I'm planning to keep this gun as is. I am extremely happy with how the whole thing got put together. It is stupid accurate with 147 grain HSTs, and this is about to get promoted into my home defense gun until next year, when I think I'm going to have a couple of again precision matches that have a handgun component. And this is again likely to be my choice for that. All in all, I think primary arms should be slapping each other on the back. It is an exceptional effort, made even more exceptional by the fact that this is their first in-house built optic. The only real complaint I have, I guess, it's not really a complaint, it's more a philosophical difference. I like to have an auto adjust option on the red dot sights. And the gentleman who designed it has a philosophical disagreement. He prefers the manual adjustment. So since he built it and not me, it's manual adjust only. I would have preferred the manual adjust with an auto adjust option. How strong is that preference? Until I started shooting with this thing, I used to think it was pretty strong. Now that I've had some time with it, I really like this optic. I'll continue using it, and whatever objections I may have about the whole business of auto adjust, I'm just gonna pocket it because it works beautifully as is. Anyhow, primary arms HTX-1. If you guys have any other questions or if there is anything I missed, please do not hesitate to let me know. Thank you.